Where's Schwabik?
Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. My name is Schinetsky. Joining me as always, my international band of brothers. Let me get my camera straight. Lukasz, Rytkowski, Prometeus Intelligent Sports Technology. Robert Samborsky, Apollon Nutrition. Lord Shane is at a deadlift competition of all things, somewhere in jolly old England. So he might be with us. He might not. I've got a hard cutoff at 3:00, guys, my time. So we'll jam on, and if Shane joins us, great. If not, well then. May he thrive at the deadlift competition with his lovely ladies.
Hey, literally like a minute ago, I asked Robert, "Where's Robbie?" And you just like appear like a ghost.
No pun intended.
There we go.
Yeah, emoji, ghost emoji.
What's new in the world, gents? How's life?
Lukasz, you go first.
Same old. Getting ready for the Arnold UK.
When is that?
I was just checking the flights from busy Poznan to Birmingham. Of course, I don't have like any direct flights, but I will go to Munich, and from Munich I will catch a flight to Birmingham. But so far so good. So yeah, I'm excited to see big Russian and small New Zealander.
Good stuff. When is the Arnold Classic?
I think like 20-something of September, right?
23rd to 25th next month.
Okay, so that's coming on quick. Who won?
Yeah.
Remind me on who won the U.S. Arnold this year?
Brandon, no?
Brandon.
Oh yeah, Brandon Curry. Yeah.
Okay. And who's the favorite going into this Olympia? Because it's Christmas week or some shit like that this year.
Yeah, it's in December, but the lineup is just crazy. Today, as a matter of fact, is Tampa Pro, and before the start of the show, I was watching the stream, so it's also pretty decent show.
I think Big Ramy, because he's the champion, he's the favorite, because it's always the champion who's the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like the lineup and everything else for this year's Olympia is pretty exciting. I mean, it's the first time in many years that I actually look forward to it. The last couple of years, I really didn't give a shit about it. But
bro, you see how many competitors are listed already?
It's insane. It's insane.
It's gonna be like it's in open category. It's gonna be like 25 to 30 names.
Well, that's how many have qualified. That's not many are saying they're committed to doing it just yet.
Yeah, well,
bro,
will do it because I mean it's the Olympia, so this one they all gonna try to make it. I mean it's a dream for them to compete at it, but yeah, it's a pretty stacked one. This year is gonna be. I mean, I hope it's gonna be exciting, but it looks like it will be.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the Olympia this year. Plus, you know, the upcoming shows are also decent. Like next week there will be Texas, and after Texas, few more shows. So yeah, there's still like a chance for to qualify. So yeah, I'm excited. But how was your week, Robert? I saw you had a decent podcast with what was his name? Gene, right?
Yeah, Gene Bruno from NutriScience Labs. He's their science officer and does some teaching at a local university in the Tennessee area in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was cool just to kind of get his input on different things. Like anybody that deals in this industry long enough, I'm curious to see, especially somebody, he's been here for 40 years. He's been doing the supplements game. So I'm curious to see how it's changed from when it was first starting and supplements tasted terrible to now they taste amazing, but there's still many shitty put together products, which we'll get into some of those here in a bit. So it was an interesting conversation. I would have liked to maybe get down a wormhole or two as far as some mechanistic stuff, but we'll table that for another podcast. The first time I ever had somebody on the show, it's a little difficult because there's so many things that we can get into. Plus, you spend some time going through the history of it, which is all good. It just gives you a good foundation from which to have the future discussions. But part of me is always like the ultra nerd in me, always just ready to get down into the mechanistic stuff and, put off the backstory and history and all that, but it's important, and that kind of gives context for where the future discussions go and whatnot. So I hope the listeners like it. I enjoy it. I always enjoy those kind of conversations.
I really enjoy the question when you asked him about his supplement stack, and his reaction was like, oh.
Yeah.
And he started to it's like saying all the names of the supplements. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not alone in this world.
Yeah.
Someone is taking the exact same amount or even more of supplements than I am. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, if somebody asked me that question, there's probably at least 10 I take every day. Which I don't know if that came across. You heard it on the replay. To me, it kind of seemed like I couldn't get a definite answer out of him saying, what do you actually take every day? And he would name a couple of things, but then he would just say, oh, I just take a wide variety of supplements. I thought, I'm looking for specifics here, man. So like, did it seem like that question didn't get fully answered on the podcast, or was it sufficiently answered, you thought, as a listener?
I really think that it's hard to name all the stuff that he's taking, especially if you're like using a lot of stuff and you're like combining standalone products instead of like more complex stuff,
Yeah.
Because if I could like give you a list of my products, it would take like probably 50 or 60 positions. So that's quite a lot, Plus, and I'm combining like all different stuff on my own because, for some reason I prefer to like buy my standalone ingredients instead of like using more like already combined like formulas,
Yeah.
But speaking of the flavors, hold on. I got this bad boy this week, and I busted open straight away, and I used it already in like few recipes and so on. I was excited, more like a fat kid in the candy store, So I use it in my pancake. I use it in my sludge. I also use it as a shake, bro. It's delicious. And I really want to say, you guys nailed it, And the best part of it is the flavor is not overpowering as far as like coconut, because like German chocolate is more like with this like decent amount of coconut coming around, and it has like a decadence, I would say, so like Salt Bay sprinkled around. So it was so damn good, and I truly liked it, and I'm looking forward to smashing this stuff and hopefully getting another one. But yeah, it's awesome, Plus I got some stuff also like liver. What else? Resistance, overtime, and bloody hell. And I'm probably gonna test out bloody hell this upcoming week.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a type of person that for some reason, like when it comes to flavors, right? And now we have shitload of them. But when it comes to flavors, like I can't say that I have really my favorite one. I mean, I wish I could say that. I don't really have one. For some reason, if I have to be really pressed for an answer, then believe it or not, my favorite is a combination of two. I take 1 scoop of dark chocolate and 1 scoop of peanut butter cookie. That probably combination is my favorite. But typically what I do is, I guess I'm a boring person because I stick to one flavor. But with that one flavor, I'm going to ride it until I'm so fucking tired of it. Then I switch. I don't go switching flavors and stuff like that. Probably I should, but I don't. So right now, this week, it's all German chocolate cake. That's all I use. That's the only thing I use. And I just keep going on and on and on and on. Probably gonna sick and tired of it in the next couple of days or week. But it's that's the way I do things. I don't know why, but I stick to one flavor and I stick with it for a very long time until I switch. but I know like typically people go like back and forth with different flavors.
Yeah. Like I said, it's smooth. It's really good, and the mixability and everything is just spot on. Plus, it's just like it's isolate, so you can't go wrong with that. Especially when you're like you know when it comes to like chocolate, you can't go wrong with German chocolate. Even if you don't like coconut, the vibe is just like it's so on point. So yeah, I truly appreciate the flavor, and yeah, great job for Apollon Nutritions on this one.
Thanks.
And by the way, speaking of Apollon, I just want to say one more thing, because this week was also a huge day for Apollon. So Jessica and Marina had birthday. If I'm correct, it was yesterday, right, Robbie?
Yeah.
So going live and just say happy freaking birthday from Uncle Lukasz from Poland. Once again, best wishes to Apollon girls.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
Yeah.
Devin, well, would you look at that? The owner of Whack 3D couldn't show up on time again. Unsubscribe from that podcast and notifications. I second that motion.
I agree.
Devin, I know you discussed Dethroner pre-workout before, but something seems off based on the total actives compared to the listed scoop size. It seems the actives are about 20 grams and the scoop is 21 grams. Yeah, yet again, I'm very skeptical of this pre-workout. In my personal opinion, I'm very skeptical of this.
just take a look how many branded ingredients you use.
Very skeptical.
I'll be honest here. Like, I've been trying to avoid talking about this. I mean, you know what? Like, typically, because we had at the gym today, Pete came to the gym, and old man Sean was at the gym as well. So I saw them this morning, and we were talking about the fact that how we talk about anything and about being straightforward and honest when it comes to to supplements. We don't bash anyone. We just express our opinion. And that's pretty much it. And sometimes, we disagree even, which is fine too. This one I was trying to avoid, to be honest with you. And I'll guess I'll say why. Because typically, like, some of our products, like Apollon products, are very, very loaded in terms of like, the ingredients and whatnot. So, and Lukasz was, and I agree with Lukasz, because it might seem like it's a knock at Apollon, but it's not. Lukasz said numerous times that sometimes you don't need a lot of ingredients to make a good product. And you know what? Somebody even said to me once, well, look, Lukasz is throwing stones at you. I said, no, he doesn't. He's actually right. Sometimes it's good to have a lot of ingredients as long as they properly dose and they make sense together and they work together. But sometimes you can literally have 2-3 ingredients and have a fantastic product. And that's the reason why I'm so confident that Lukasz is going to like bloody hell. But, I'm looking forward to his review. But it's only 3 ingredients. With this one, if you look at this, I mean, it's loaded. Nobody can dispute the fact that this is absolutely fucking loaded. But when I went like one by one with each and every ingredient, number one, I saw a couple of ingredients that, frankly, I just don't like. I know I'm not the only one on this panel right now who doesn't like all the ingredients on this thing. Number two, it just something is, for me personally, like, that's personal opinion. Something just doesn't, like Robert said, it's like, I'm not even skeptical. I don't doubt that this will work. I don't doubt one bit, because I mean, it does have some solid ingredients. I don't know, something about it, the dosages and stuff, like, and then some of them are like ridiculously high, which, I shouldn't be the one criticizing, and I'm not. But, if you look, for example, obviously, my opinion, I mean, your guys' opinion about S7, exactly. I mean, what Mitch said, I mean, FitNox, we used in bare knuckle, and remember, Robert, we used it when it just came. I mean, probably we were the first ones, I think, to use it, if I'm not mistaken.
There was a company that did it before us, but they're not around anymore.
Yeah, so we were among the first ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that was about what, 3 years ago. We talked about it when you and Sandy came to Baltimore, right?
Yep.
And then we included it in bare knuckle right away. And I mean, let's just say this: we removed it in the next version. Just that's a thing. Not saying it's a bad ingredient or anything like that, but we removed it. It just something with this formula. It seems like, and it's impressive. It's always impressive when you have so many ingredients. But the dosage, say for example, and Robert and I just discussed this ingredient, Vasodrive. It just I don't know. Like, you know what? I'm gonna shut up right now. I'll let Robert take over because with the dosages and the ingredients and the synergy, because I'm like Robert said, I'm skeptical.
Yeah. All right. So to Devin's point, the scoop says 1 full scoop is 21.8 grams. The number of actives in this is 19,950. Fun fact for all the listeners out there that may not be aware of how much flavoring and the other additives, all of the stuff down here at the bottom, the silicon dioxide, calcium silicate, natural and artificial flavor, sucralose, and ACE K, that's usually 2 to 3 grams worth of stuff. So there we're looking at a minimum of 22 to 23,000 milligrams or 22 to 23 grams per scoop. So either this tastes like shit and it's got all of this stuff in there, or not all of this stuff is in here and it tastes phenomenal.
Yeah, and what you said about 2 to 3 grams, sometimes it's even more.
Yeah, especially when you've got stuff like Sulflo 6, which tastes terrible. Rodeo Prime tastes terrible. Fitnox, the raw powder of that, is deplorable. Pine bark extract, I just took 500 milligrams of that myself before we got on this podcast with 400 milligrams of grapeseed, 2,000 milligrams of Alcar, and 1,200 milligrams of N-acetylcysteine. That tastes terrible. There's also a lot of redundancies in this formula. Yes, there's different polyphenols in Sulflo 6 versus pine bark versus Fitnox versus S7, but they all accomplish the same end result. And so I think you could remove at least 2, maybe 3 of those 4 things right there. You're selling this product for, what was it, $79, $80? I would love to third-party test this. That's all I'm going to say. I would love to third-party test this. So,
what's your call as far as the formula? Do you think it's legit, or you think it doesn't contain what's on the label?
I would like this to be third-party tested. That's as far as I'm going to say.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand what Robert is saying, because we cannot make any accusations or any allegations, and we shouldn't. And he's right. I agree with that. It's just like I know for we use Self-Flow in Bloody Hell, which I know it's not a fair comparison because it's a pill. It's so fucking dense that it's very, very hard to even fit without, like, it just requires more space, so to speak. So I mean, the scoop size. It's very, like I said, we cannot make accusations because we don't know, we don't have any facts, we don't have any testing or anything like that. But I am with Robert on this one. Typically, if this is 19, whatever, 20, almost 20 grams, I mean, more than likely, this should be anywhere between 22 probably minimum. But that's being generous. This is probably like 23 to 25. More than likely, because somebody asked me recently, well, Hooligan, when you calculate everything, is the serving size is larger than when you add all the ingredients, but that's the way it is because of all the shit that you have to put in it as extra and the flavoring and all that. And if you look, for example, at the difference between Hooligan different flavors, the serving size is actually different too. If you look Mai Tai and mango and strawberry, they all different because the flavor is also different, and it's supposed to be different as well. It can't be the same. I mean, it can, but not the case usually. So I see exactly what he's saying.
But you know what? It's like with everything. Even in protein, you need to add flavoring, all the clumping agents and so on. So I fully understand that. But here it's like it's it's a few grams, so he probably didn't even like add any flavor or anything like that. So if he really put all these ingredients into this top, this gotta taste like shit. Or he's like some kind of like, I don't know what type of a magic he's been using, but if this tastes good, man, and the amounts of ingredients that are on the label are in the top, I will bow down, definitely.
I'm skeptical. It's $72 for this pre-workout. Maybe there's also a discount code somewhere. I have no idea. I just,
You know
I'm
what?
very skeptical because I know how expensive a lot of these ingredients are, and this being
Do
a
you guys-
relatively young new company.
Would you guys agree it's like a type of a pre-workout that we all name like fuck you type of a pre-workout? So let's put everything. Let's do a kitchen sink and just basically put everything what we think it's cool, and just run with this shit.
I think they found every branded ingredient they could find, and they just threw it in there because there's so many redundancies in this formula. It's over optimized and to a detriment because you're not going to get the fact that you're adding that much more. It's like putting an excessive amount of gasoline into your gas tank. Eventually, shit just starts spilling out. You're not actually getting benefit from that extra gas. You're just wasting money. Same thing here. You don't need 8 different. Sorry, that's an exaggeration. You don't need 4 or 5 different polyphenol sources in there. You don't need 6 grams of citrulline and another 1,500 milligrams of nitrosamine in there. On top of that, another 1,000 milligrams of vasodrive AP. Either do citrulline or nitrosamine. We've got the data showing that 1,500 milligrams of nitrosamine is equivalent to 8 grams of citrulline malate. So put one of those in there or the other. You want to have a big scoop size and turn it into a dick measuring contest? Fine. But, if Cellucor, BSN, one of these giants wants to actually come up and do a fuck you pre-workout like that, that's great. But, I mean, like these little influencer brands, no. This doesn't come across as anything groundbreaking, and I'm still very skeptical of it.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and look at their old version of their pre-workout, I have it pulled up right here. And I don't even know who this guy is. I just know the brand because everybody keeps saying it. So 13 grams in this scoop. Here you've got 4, 7, 7.55, 7.95, 8.25, 8.35 grams. So we're looking at around 9 grams of actives there. And you have 13 grams total. So you've got 4 grams of flavoring right there. What the hell happened to the other one? You're telling me you've got 1.5 grams of flavoring compared when you've got infinitely more actives in that one? There's something doesn't smell right here to me personally.
And in the newest formula, he's been using like twice as much ingredients that taste like shit. So
yeah,
that's even like
something doesn't smell funny to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about the price, right? So, I mean, I should know. I don't have a problem with the price. I really don't have a problem. I don't think the price is the problem here at all. Because if you think about it, say for argument's sake, all the ingredients are in there. This is a very, very, very pricey workout to put together. If all the ingredients are actually in place, trademark ingredients and whatnot, this is an expensive thing to make. So, the more you put, the more it costs. I mean, that's pretty much easy mathematics. The problem is with something else. Number one is what we talked about, and Devin is very good at finding these things. He's really, really, really fucking good. He pays attention to every little detail, and it's very impressive. But the main issue is not the price. The main issue is the serving size, which, like Robert said, it's not going to be the word suspicious, but it seems highly questionable. I think that's a better word. Yeah, I think it's questionable.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah, I should be a lawyer.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, it's questionable, and it's a fair question to ask. And number two, it's you can make instead of making it a dick measurement competition like Robert said, you can definitely make a long list of fucking ingredients. You can, as long as number one, the ingredients make sense and they actually flow together. Like a little bit of citrulline with nitrogen, you do different things, combine together, you get the best of both worlds. Boom, perfect. Then you have maybe something for focus where you have something like tyrosine, maybe mixed a little bit with neurofactor. It makes sense. You're getting hit from both sides, so to speak. When we're talking about energy, like we know, for example, area durensis works great with something like gorgonine. It makes sense, because combined it works. Now you have those two, three, those two, three, those two, three. Boom, you have a great fucking pre-workout that gives you energy, focused, pump, everything in it, and you have quite a few ingredients. Makes perfect sense. Now, when you have something like Vasodrive, we know, because Robert and I actually discussed Vasodrive yesterday, we know that 254 is, it's okay. It's a bare minimum, but it's okay. You can get away with it, especially if you're combining it, say, with citrulline or something like that, or maybe nitrogen. It's fine. It will work. We can't really criticize you for that. Yes, you were using less than optimal, but we cannot criticize you for that. 508 is an actual optimal dosage for that ingredient. If you're going to use 600, okay, you're trying to impress a little bit, you raise the bar a little bit, that's okay. 1,000 milligram, why? What is the logic behind it? It's the same thing as citrulline. Robert, what did you say? The minimum is 3,000 milligram?
Yeah, I mean, there's one study showing 2.4, but 3 is kind of commonly accepted.
So if somebody's using 3, we cannot criticize that person and say that he's underdosing a product, because he doesn't. It's not underdosed. It's on the lower side, but it's not underdosed.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they all great. Now you're going into 13, 14, 15, 16. It's going to look very impressive on the label, but what the fuck is the point? Like, what are you trying to do here? Yeah. All you're trying to do is just to look impressive. It's not going to give you extra results. It's the same thing with, with drugs. Testosterone, 200, 300, 400, 1,000 milligram per week. Yeah, it will give you results. Now you're taking 3,000 milligram a week. Is it going to give you better results than 1,000? Probably not. It definitely will give you more side effects. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So everything has to have a point. Like, some of the things in here, it's just like, okay, I'm impressed. You have a big dick. And now what? Now what? Where are we going from this? And your big dick is actually raising a lot of questions right now, or a question with the scoop size and, and the serving size. Yeah. So, and will I get more benefit with that than, a substantially lower pre-workout, but just as effective? Yeah. So the price, I mean, like I said, you can put together an $80 pre-workout. I don't have a problem with the price. I mean, of course, not everybody can, like, again, Creamy said here, he cannot afford $80. And it's a fair statement. He cannot justify it. It's a fair statement. So it's not for him.
But on a brand that's relatively new and untested in the supplement industry.
If somebody can afford, not everybody can afford a Lamborghini, and not everybody can afford a beach house in Malibu. If you can, you will buy it because it's worth it. It's that good. But not everybody can. But still, it has to make sense. If it's a fully loaded pre-workout with branded ingredients and it's great, maybe, why not? But it still has to make sense. Just because you have something flashy and something great and something perfect, it's the same thing as fucking wearing a Rolex that doesn't have the fucking mechanism inside. All you have is just the face. It says Rolex, but you can't even tell time because there's no fucking anything inside. It has to make sense. Is Rolex worth thousands and thousands of dollars? Yes, because there is a prestige to it, and there is value to it. But if you cannot tell time, what the fuck is the point? Then the $5 watch is going to be more effective. Everything has to have common sense, and it has to be relevant, because otherwise, like, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah. Well, like to that point, I have a Rolex here at the house. I didn't buy it. It was my grandpa's, the one I'm named after. My mom's dad had that, and that was what he left to me when he died. You know, when I was 7 years old, he passed away, but he left that to me. So when I turned 18, my mom said, "Here, I've been holding on to this for you. It's yours now." I have never worn that thing one day in my life. I wear this little cheap, like $50 Fitbit thing, just because.
Time? It does.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so I was like, just because something is fancy, like I appreciate it is a gold Rolex watch. The fact that it was my grandpa's means more to me than the fact that it's a Rolex kind of thing. So it's, you know, the brand stuff. I
want to add something to the stuff that Probik said about the gear. You know, we are good friends with other podcasts, Think Big Bodybuilding Media, Scott McNally and the rest of the guys, Skip and Andrew Barry. And they have this awesome like show when they're like talking about gear and so on. They always say the exact same thing, and I'm always like baffled about that, because it's like people are like, you know, saying all these stupid dosages about how many compounds they're like using, how much, you know, amounts of stuff they're like using, and they think that, you know, you need to like do tons of stuff just to be huge, and they don't understand that you need to take the least amount of those that will give you the most amount of progress, and that's how it goes with everything, including supplements. And we talked about, you know, when I was helping Robbie with some other formulations and so on, when he was formulating like the bloody hell, when he was formulating resistance and so on, he could like add to the formulas like a fucking list of ingredients. But what's the point of it? And I told him straight away, bro, you can just like add 4 or 5 ingredients, dose them in a freaking good way, and you know, you will have not only the quality, you will have the clinical dosages, and you will have the price that will give you the margins for the customers. So when summing all this thing up, this kind of product, it will be just for like, I don't know, maybe 2% of the customers around the world. And just like Creamy said, he's not gonna buy a product that costs $80. I personally don't gonna buy a product that costs $80. I don't want to, you know, because I know that I can get an amazing product for twice as less of that money, you know. So I really don't understand that. And we also made this analogy when you have, for example, you can have a fucking Lamborghini or you can have a Ford, but at the same time, both vehicles can take you from point A to point B, right? And just because you are driving fucking Lamborghini, it just like maybe gives you like, I don't know, a 1% to your like fanciness or something like that.
Yeah.
But you still gonna, you know, travel, you know, with Ford to a point destination, right? And you will reach that destination. So at the end, what's the point?
You know, I mean, I apologize because I didn't read the whole sentence that Creamy posted here, and it's not about affording. He said that he can not spend $80 for a product that he doesn't trust. So this is a very valid point. You know, like I said, I mean, those ingredients might all be in there, and we might be, well, we're not wrong because we're not accusing of anything. You know, they might be in there, but you know, if a customer that has questions and doesn't trust, you know, that says a lot. You know, that says a lot. And I you know what, I agree with Creamy on this one. I 100% agree. You know, if I don't trust something, I'm not going to fucking spend money on it because it's just, you know, I'm going to have questions. No doubt that the product will sell. There's going to be buyers, and you know, they're going to do well. I wish them all the best. But the truth is, I'm sorry. You know what? Everything has to make sense. And to what Lukasz said about drugs, we had a seminar at Apollon a couple of years ago, and Alex Fedorov was at the seminar. And Alex Fedorov was probably among the biggest motherfuckers you've ever seen. The guy was just ridiculous. And I was the one who was coaching him.
Yeah,
I was the one who was prepping him. And we did a seminar. It was a Q&A, and there was a lot of guys in the audience. And people were obviously, they want to know answers about drugs. And I asked Alex, I said, you want to answer? Because I was translating. He didn't speak any English. I said, do you want to answer those questions? I said, because some, especially American bodybuilders, they don't want to talk openly about drugs. He goes to me, I don't give a fuck. He says, I'll answer any questions. I was like, okay. So one of the first questions that came up was the guy goes, how much testosterone are you taking? And Alex goes, well, usually, it's between 500 to 750 milligram a week. And he didn't lie. He didn't lie because, again, I worked with him. That was not a lie. I translated it. The guy gave me a green light. The guy in the audience goes, literally, bullshit. He goes, I take twice as much. I don't look like that. And Alex was very calm because, again, I was pissed and Alex was super calm because I thought it was very disrespectful. And Alex goes, but do you train like me? Do you have my genetics? Do you follow the diet the way I do? Do you have consistency in your program? Do you have experience? Have you been doing it for many years? Are you using real anabolics or some underground garbage that somebody cooks in a basement?
Right.
I was like, you know what? That was a pretty good answer. So, it's not about the size, and it's not about the amount, and it's not about any of those, impressive dosages. And again, I probably should shut the fuck up because Assassin is fucking loaded and Hooligan is fucking loaded. But you know what? I'm gonna fucking take pride in what I do, because the thing is like, I will consult with Robert. I will consult with Lukasz. I will consult with people. I will make sure that I read. I'll make sure that it actually fucking works. I mean, not for nothing, Robert and I were talking a few days ago about something, and I wasn't sure about it. I was comfortable enough to ask, because certain ingredients and certain dosages, they just make absolutely no sense. And you know what? A good actually example would be Universal Soldier. I did the formula, but Robert did help me tremendously on that formula, and I was consulting with him back and forth. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one ingredient that I actually wanted to overdose. I don't know if Robert remembers this. And he actually told me, he says, okay, slow the fuck down. It's unnecessary. Remember which ingredient it was?
Is it vinpocetine? No, we didn't put vinpocetine in there. Bacopa, yeah.
Yeah, Bacopa. I went, I think, like 400 or 500 milligram on it or something like that. I went pretty high. I think it was 400.
I think the initial one was 800.
I mean,
something like that. Yeah.
He goes to me, he goes like, why? He says, what are you trying to accomplish here? He says, it's completely unnecessary. And he basically fucking cornered me with facts and science. I was like, okay, kind of fucking.
I was really nice about it. I've never did about it.
Right, but you were right. And I didn't hesitate for a split second. I was like, okay, that's a little bit stupid. I was going guns blazing, you know what? Because, and I'll admit, I don't have a problem admitting it. I saw another company using higher dose, like 400 or 500 or 600 or something like that. I was like, all right, motherfucker, I'm going to fucking beat you on this one. Then literally, I fell for it. It was such a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, actually, that I went that route until he told me, he goes like, shh, calm down. It's unnecessary. And he goes like, look at the studies. He actually sent me a bunch of links. I'm literally reading it. Okay, it's kind of dumb.
And that's why the formulations and the formulator is like an art. It's like I would say like a good orchestra. When you have all these ingredients and they are playing this music, and when one is screwing things up, then the entire melody is just fucked up. And that's how it goes with the formulas. You just need to like stay on this good vibe, on this good base. So when you have all these ingredients and they are playing their own, and you combine them all together, then you have perfection. That's why I always say perfection takes time.
Agreed. Crystal, great analogies given. Thank you. And Crystal, are you a first-time commenter here on the stream? If so, I don't recollect you commenting recently, but thank you.
A friend of mine. She's here only for me, so fuck off.
No, I'm just saying thank you. We appreciate all the feedback. Chris, don't forget that like button. tickle it, stroke it, massage it, caress it. You know,
just make sure.
And then slap.
And then
Yes.
And then put it in its place as it should be and give it a smack.
Hell yeah.
Dave Cook. Maybe we can combine any donations from the listeners to have this one tested out. I could be okay with that.
We could definitely do on fucking.
It's not cheap. I mean, it's going to be several $100 to a couple $1,000 depending on how many ingredients we get tested in that stuff.
We're gonna fucking sell your Rolex.
We can do that. We can do that. I'll sell this little camera. This Logitech. We'll get Shane. Shane's got that Stack 3D money. He's not going to show up on time. The least thing he could do is pay for the lab tests.
Let's donate that gold sink that he has.
Yeah. He could pay $300 shipping for Zoa energy drinks. He can afford to do a third-party lab test on this. That's the tax write-off.
And by the way, Zoa released a new flavor. Do you think that Shane's gonna jump on the offer and order more?
I loved his review of the Lost and Found energy drinks that Primeval released. I have not tried those yet. I need to. I mean, that was pretty high praise that he was throwing on there. I usually don't see Shane that effusive in his written reviews of stuff. So I need to call up the guys at Primeval and say, hey, man, can you kick a case or two down my way? I can try those suckers out.
Hook us up.
Yeah. Then, thoughts on the success of NutriSystems and their dieting meal plan business model? So I'm pretty sure most of the people here have heard of NutriSystem. You basically sign up for their thing. I'll pull it up here. So weight loss is something very common that people seek, especially around the New Year's time. A lot of people struggle with it because of food. I have never done this myself, nor explored it extensively. Sandy and I had tried to lobby my parents to get one of my aunts on it because she has been overweight for pretty much her whole life and is in got COPD, heart disease, a whole bunch of other stuff. And so we said, hey, just instead of eating all the shit that you eat, maybe we can start doing on this. So, they bill you whatever it is, you pay them this much money, they deliver all the meals to you for you to eat, and it's on a reduced calorie plan. And you lose weight because it's calories in, calories out. What do you guys think of this? Just having all of your food shipped to you and not having to do anything about that. Is that a good strategy? Is it sustainable over the long term? Or should, I guess, more responsibility be taken upon the individual to learn how to cook healthy meals, what it actually consists of to eat healthy and do your own cooking, be self-sufficient? What do y'all think?
I mean, in general, when it comes to healthy, I mean, there is a reason why people are fucking fat and slop and shit like that. It's because they like to eat food that tastes good, but typically food that tastes good is not very healthy, right? I mean, that's unfortunate facts. But I think that despite the fact that there are so many books and so much information on cooking, and healthy food, and it will taste good, taste delicious. It's funny because I think that there is not enough. I know that it seems like I'm contradicting myself right now, but I think that as a business, this is great because I can see that people will go for it. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's helpful.
Yeah.
But I think that if somebody came up with a very, very, I mean, I can't cook, but if somebody came up with something that would help people like make good, healthy, delicious meals, that would help a lot, and probably they would succeed. But it would be very, very helpful because it's the same thing as supplements, right? So we have thousands of brands, but how many brands you can say that are actually good? When it comes to that, that's that's not the case. So the same thing with this. I mean, I'm not against this. I think this is good.
Yeah, I have a bit of an issue with the claim that it's high protein stuff. I mean,
yeah, that's not true.
What fully grown adult that is overweight is going to be full of 260 calories? I mean, we're talking like a piece of lasagna that's about that big. I mean, and maybe that thick. It's just they're going to eat that, and then they're going to want to eat 3 more.
About like this, like particularly this site. I mean, this is a business after all. They're making money.
Yeah.
So, their claims can be a little bit outrageous, and, they can call 10 grams of protein high protein meal.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. This is cleaner perhaps than most. But then again, if you go into a supermarket, right, try to, I sometimes eavesdrop and I listen to other people's conversations because it's so much fun. And you will see 2, 3 pretty overweight people grabbing something, any product, and say, "Oh, look, this is low fat," and they put it in the cart because they psychologically think that if it's low fat, then it's probably healthy or something like that. I think that there is such serious lack of knowledge. So this specifically, I think, targets those very people where it's something that it seems like it's healthy. It's probably healthier than your McDonald's or whatnot. But at the same time, is it like actual diet food? Will you lose weight on this? Like you said, you're restricting calories. When you're restricting calories and you're in a caloric deficit, obviously you're going to lose weight. Will it be fat? Will it be lean muscle tissue? It's probably a little bit of both because you're not preserving lean muscle tissue. You're like losing just overall weight. It's not necessarily good weight, bad weight that you're losing. You might be losing good weight too. But unfortunately, people don't know. I mean, we still have a case where people are stepping on a scale and they go like, "Oh, look, I lost 5 pounds. Congratulations to me." Yeah, but did you lose actually 5 pounds of fat? Because sometimes you can actually gain weight, but also be leaner. And I think that this is a concept that not many people understand. So when somebody will come out with a program that is going to be very truthful and will call it as it is, and will give people the legit information about, and will try to educate them, I think that's going to be helpful. This is just a business. And if you're eating like a slob, but you're going to start ordering this, you will lose weight without a doubt. Yeah. But there are obviously many questions comes to that, with this.
Yeah, and then NutriSystem was kind of one of the first meal prep delivery services. I mean, there's a ton of them now. I mean, you've got the trifecta meal systems. You've got any one of the other ones that the mainstream like bodybuilders and those guys use. This was one of the first, and I like what they're doing. I think I would like the quality of their food to be better. Because, I mean, look, you got the filling for this beef burrito, seasoned beef, and then modified food starch strips with added caramel color. So you're getting fake food starch that looks like beef instead of actual beef. So, I mean, it's little things like that. Like, I like what they're trying to do and try to get people healthy, give them lower calorie foods to lose weight, but, there's got to be a better way.
Honestly, not a big, fan of meal prep companies, just because I know that it's really easy to prepare your own meals, and it's also super cheap to do that. And right now on the internet, you got so many recipes that you can use and utilize on your daily basis, or you can even invest in stuff like cookbooks, those kinds of things. I know that like many influencers are right now releasing cookbooks and so on, but I do think that those type of stuff, those type of tools, can be really helpful, and can help you in reaching your goals. Plus, you can also start like experimenting in the kitchen, doing your own spins to the recipes and so on. So when it comes to like meal prep, companies, you're just like I would say you're like a slave, because you need to like stick to menu that they provide. While when it comes to like recipes, you can always do whatever you want, based on your goal and so on. So some people will do like I don't know, low carb, others like keto and other stuff, or like I don't know, high carb stuff. So yeah, whatever floats your boat. But at the same time, I would go with like stuff such as like recipes and so on. And plus, you can also use, YouTube and other like sites where they provide free access to like all different recipes and so on. So yeah, that's my take on that subject.
Yeah, I think it's a interesting model. There are so many better options than it now. I think they're almost kind of a thing of the past, kind of like Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers has to keep reinventing itself every year and a half because people have ADD with it and they can't stick to it. It's it started off good. There's vastly superior options nowadays.
And plus, this is supposed to be purely for convenience, I guess. People who can't afford it, don't want to cook and whatnot. But at the same time, it's a little bit misleading to a point where people think like, okay, this is the answer. This is healthy. Probably has some healthy ingredients, probably healthier than what you're usually accustomed to. But I'm with Lukasz on this. I think it's not that expensive to prepare a healthy meal, and you can actually cater to your own needs. And, the research to do your own research is also not that difficult. The simplicity of this, it's the same thing as going to a gym. You need basic equipment, basic weights, and you're good to go. You don't need fancy. You don't need like fancy packaging. You don't need none of that. You just have to kind of do a little bit of research and know what works for you, and then kind of stick to it, and that's it. So I think that people are not utilizing everything to the full advantage, and just probably plain lazy.
Agreed. Chris, sounds like the new Jenny Craig diet plan. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Jojo, hello guys. Story sidekick checking in. Have y'all seen or tried First Phorm's new energy drink? I saw it come across the Stack 3D wire yesterday, as a matter of fact. Or whenever it came up. Let me pull it up real quick and then get to it. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, these images are courtesy of some schmuckbag who can't be bothered to show up on time for a podcast.com. First Phorm powers its promising energy drink with an open and advanced formula. All right, let's see what we got. First Phorm Energy features a sports nutrition style formula with a gram of N-acetyl L-tyrosine, 400 milligrams choline from choline bitartrate, 100 micrograms of huperzine A, 100 milligrams of premium neurofactor to enhance mental focus. Caffeine is, of course, also in the beverage by way of natural caffeine from green tea at a moderate 200 milligrams. And to top it off, 5 milligrams of BioPerine and black pepper to help with the absorption of the ingredients. As mentioned, First Phorm has not taken a straightforward approach in its first ever energy drink, really putting together an advanced blend of ingredients with a lot in there to improve focus and enhance focus. There are some B vitamins and electrolytes to support hydration, putting First Phorm Energy into the performance category more than general energy drink. All right. If you're like us and prefer to keep your beverage as clean as possible, First Phorm does not disappoint, and not surprisingly, being a sports nutrition brand. First Phorm Energy comes with absolutely no macros whatsoever in zero sugar, carbohydrates, fat, and calories. That goes for all 4 of its flavors in Orange Sunrise, Cherry Lime, Citrus Blast, and Blue Raspberry. Okay. Hey, gents. I'm not sure why they don't have choline bitartrate listed in this energy blend right here. I'm a little confused by that. But maybe it's up there with the vitamins and minerals because choline has to be listed on nutrition facts panels these days. What do y'all think?
I to be honest with you, it's an energy drink. At the end of the day, you can fucking take all that down. It's gonna come with only one thing: does it taste good? That's number one. That's the number one thing. Will you get a huge benefit from this? Like, were you gonna feel it like a fucking pre-workout or anything like that? Yeah, not really. Neurofactor is nice, to be honest with you. That's the only thing I really paid attention to. Hoopers, I have the same opinion as Robert on it. Caffeine, it's 200 milligram natural caffeine. It's good. You're gonna feel a bit of a buzz. It's not going to be overwhelming. It's going to be good, just like pretty much. So pretty much you can take all of that down, leave the last part, and you're good to go as long as it tastes good. I'm not trying to disrespect the formula or, first Phorm. Good for them, great. They're trying to get a little bit more attention by having a little bit more than other brands. But you know what? Nothing innovative about this, because if you take, for example, Ghost, right? Ghost also has pretty nice little formula to it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's got alpha GPC and neurofactor in it.
I mean, it has, but alpha GPC is only, I believe, 150 milligram. And if you take into consideration 50%, so I guess it's 75 milligram. So do you get anything out of it? Again, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying the truth. It's there. It's small amount of that. Will it do anything? Probably not. Sorry. I mean, just the fact. So all it is 200 milligram of caffeine. That's all it is. But when you talk about all these energy drinks, nobody even talks about fucking energy, because the energy is supple. It's very moderate, to say the least. Everybody talks about taste. That's the only thing. Taste, 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 taste. And, we're going back and forth with this one. Monster, White Monster, what Nick said last week, that it is, yeah, exactly. He said that it's grapefruit. That fucking thing is delicious. I can fucking drink it nonstop. It has, I believe, 160 milligram of caffeine. Does it give me any energy? It gives me no energy whatsoever. I don't
140.
feel
140.
I don't give a fuck if it has 300, 140, 150, 200. That thing is delicious. That's all that matters. I'm drinking this one right now. I really, really like this flavor. This flavor is fucking awesome. I don't know what's in it. I don't read it. I mean, as long as it's sugar-free, it has a little bit of caffeine that I barely feel anyway, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I like this. It's differential. So Shane makes the good point. It's not just caffeine, taurine, a pixie dusting of amino acids, guarana, and B vitamins. They've got decent dosages in here. So 100 micrograms of huperzine, it's an effective dose. Do I think it's something that should be taken every day or put into an energy drink? I personally wouldn't do that, but maybe their research with their consumer base, they really like that ingredient. They wanted to do it. So that's possible. I just don't think that's something you want to be taking every day, especially if you're taking other nootropics or pre-workouts or things like that. We've talked about this 100 times over. It's going to build up in your system and accumulate. And if you're somebody that likes to have 2 or 3 energy drinks in a day, things could get ugly. The tyrosine dose is solid. Neurofactor, I love that ingredient. 200 caffeine is good. The flavor itself is going to be the deal breaker, like Shane mentions here. Is it strong in the beginning and then it fades? Does it kind of last, kind of like his review of Lost and Found Energy said, that it just kind of maintains that flavor through the whole thing? So it'll be interesting. Do y'all like the design of the cans? Is that going to pop out in a cooler, a energy drink cooler like you'll see at the grocery store or gym?
You know what? It's a bit reminds me of a 3D energy drink. Just a bit. When I first saw it, it's just like shouts with simplicity and so on. It doesn't it's not over complex or anything like that. So I like I personally like the look. I also like it's a white can because it always pops. Especially all the drinks right now that we got. In for example, Prometeus portfolio, we got plenty of drinks, and most of them are super colorful. So when you have the white can, it definitely pops, and you can see it straight away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out. It's probably gonna be in Europe in like 1 year or maybe more, especially with the traveling issues right now and so on. But yeah. Once it will hit the European market, I will definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, this profile. If I am going to stop in the store, or if I'm driving up to Jersey, as I do, last year, and I stop at a gas station to get an energy drink on the rare occasions that I do, I'm going to probably gravitate towards something that is not a Bang or one of the other 4,000 other imitators of Bang, just because if I can find something like Ghost, C4 Energy, even this maybe that has quality dosages of some supplements, I'll probably gravitate towards that, even if it's 25 or 50 cents extra, just because I feel like, all right, if I'm going to waste the money on an energy drink, at least let me make it worth it. So, I mean, I would pick this before I picked up a Bang or an adrenaline shock or something like that. I would go for this. I would go for Ghost. Yeah.
Hey, but remember, with Bang, you always go with the super creatine.
You got the super creatine. That is true. If America Energy was in the gas stations, I would pick up on America Energy because I like the cream soda flavor. Nobody else seems to be doing that. Yeah. All right. Keep the comments rolling, guys. I do want to talk to the gentleman. I kind of went off on a little rant the other day when Shane popped this story up.
Yo, I know you want to you want to talk about this. So
Goli children's gummies. Let me fix this like this. All right.
It's about time for Robert to do his rant.
I was just about to say it, like first time ever that Lukasz and I are so nice and peaceful and friendly. This guy's been like pissed for the past couple of days and waiting to say something about this.
Yeah, well, all right. Shane even mentioned this. I almost want to pull up his message when I first saw this formula, and I've not been a big fan of Goli or any of these other bullshit gummy companies since they started flooding. They're like, you remember when frozen yogurt became like a really big thing here in the States, probably about 10 or 15 years ago, and every other corner was like a Starbucks. There was a Starbucks, there was a frozen yogurt shop, and then a Dunkin' Donuts, and it was rinse and repeat. And over the past 2 or 3 years, every goddamn week there's a new gummy company in the store. And Goli's been one of the bigger ones. Goli's a big one. Ollie is another one. And yes, these guys are making millions, so they could give two shits about what I'm about to say about any of this stuff. But their formulas, in my opinion, suck. Okay? They suck. They're shit because in a gummy, go back, there was a guy I had on the podcast several months back called Frank Cantone, and they specialize in doing gummies. And he tells you how much active you can actually get in one of these little gummies. It's not a whole hell of a lot, in case you're not aware. Okay? So gummies, you think, oh, well, it's going to be for kids. It's got to be the best thing ever. It's for kids. It's going to be safe. It's going to be healthy. It's going to be good because we really care about all of our kids. All parents want to do right by their kids. They want to give them good stuff. And that was pretty much Shane's response. He goes, hey, I figure it's for kids. It's got to be really good. He said, I don't even bother to check the ingredients. I don't know what's the best thing out there. And I said, Shane, these things suck. They absolutely suck. So it's got 13 essential vitamins and some key minerals. All right. Glaring omission from the gummies, magnesium, which is one of the top 3-4 nutrient deficiencies across the planet. Vitamin D, another massive nutrient deficiency, also has a vital role in immune function. Of the past 2 years, if you haven't caught on to that, you've been living in a hole somewhere. They've got vitamin D2, the plant-based form of vitamin D, shitty absorption. It should be vitamin D, cholecalciferol. They completely ignore magnesium. They put in K1. K1, you don't have any problem getting in your diet. K2 is the big one. Also has big roles in bone health and cardiovascular health. They got cyanocobalamin instead of methylcobalamin. Again, the shitty form of the vitamin instead of the righteous vitamin that you need. Where else can I go from here? I mean, they got zinc citrate instead of zinc oxide. I guess that's good. They didn't put the shitty form of zinc in here, so that's a bonus. Chromium chloride, no, it should be chromium picolinate or any other form of chromium. Yeah. Just
fruit blend for the end.
Yeah, this fruit blend, which is just more sugar that's being thrown in there. It's complete dog shit. There's no potassium, which most little kids probably don't get enough of. They eat enough processed foods that they're getting ample sodium. And I understand sodium's in there for flavoring and helping the gummies form and all that. But where the fuck's the potassium in this? Iodine for thyroid health, choline, another massively important nutrient for cognitive function, and liver health, completely ignored here in this gummy. There's better options out there. That's all I'm going to say.
Plus, keep in mind that they're also like adding to the gummies like organic tapioca syrup, organic cane sugar.
Yeah, more sugar than anything.
Yeah, just because it's organic doesn't mean shit, you know? It's still sugar, you know?
Yeah. Please, I will not be purchasing this for my child. I would never. We have some vitamin gummies for her. They're much better formulas than this. Granted, those do not contain magnesium, but there's other forms of magnesium that I'm giving her throughout the day to address that. Plus, she also eats real food, like most children should be encouraged to by their parents, if not forced. I don't care if your kid says they like to eat cake. I like cake and pizza too, but I'm not going to eat like an asshole. Make your kid eat real food. And that's why these supplements are there. But fuck, man, this is an insult. And like we said a couple of weeks ago with the Obvi collagen capsules that they came out, that's dog shit for the customer. You should feel embarrassed as somebody pushing that on the customer. This sucks too. And in defense of Obvi, their kids' protein is leaps and bounds better than this, and actually tastes pretty damn good. In my opinion.
But let's keep it real. Obvi recently stuck balls, and I mean it like big time. When it comes to like protein, collagen, I fully agree and I fully respect what they are doing for the industry, for the kids, and also for the women. They are also providing this awareness, that collagen is healthy and it should be supplemented not only by women, by men, but also by the kids. So that's a good point. But bro, when you are releasing a product that it's saying collagen that burns fat, bro, like fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I thought that was So we ranted about that. But if we're turning it back to kids supplements here, this is something I have given to my daughter, and I feel perfectly fine doing that. It's got the good forms of vitamin D. It's got the good forms of vitamin B6, B12. It's got potassium in there. It's got magnesium in there. It's smaller amounts, but it's still orders of magnitude more than you're getting in this steaming pile of sugar shit.
I also know that I don't remember if we talked about the core multivitamin for the kids.
Yeah.
Maybe you can also pull it up, because I know that Dog released recently their formula, and this one is also pretty good as far as like dosages and so on.
Yeah, so they got the good forms of B6. They have a much better dosage of folate for the kids. Good form of vitamin D. The less bioavailable form of vitamin B12. They do have some choline. They have some iodine. They have zinc citrate, so that's good. Again, there's no magnesium, and I understand magnesium is very difficult to flavor, but given it is such an underconsumed micronutrient and it plays a role in over 300 biological processes, that needs to be being put to the forefront in all of these formulations for kids and for adults.
Yeah, of course, but keep in mind, it's just like a supplement. So
but I'm saying if you're going to say we're including the essential stuff, then
of course,
magnesium in there. So
yeah.
That's a personal pet peeve for mine.
Yeah. Do you guys think that when it comes to like kids and supplements, the brands are like trying to reach this audience, by like saying, oh, this multivitamin is for kids, instead of like maybe even like recommending like normal stuff that can be like purchased by adults. What's your take on that?
I think that parents are getting ripped off because they don't care. No, I didn't. That's not the right word. They don't bother to look into what's truly beneficial and what truly works and improves the kids' health. Not because they don't love their children. It's not because they don't care about their children, but because any fucked up company that is trying to profit will say this will improve your kid's immune system, this will improve your kids this, and this will improve that, and they automatically falling for it and they buying it like, what, I mean, it must be good. But nobody cares to look that, oh, look, your child is getting fatter. Nobody cares to look like, is your child actually getting healthier? Is your child getting better? Is your child getting the benefits that the company is promising? And it's very, very easy, again, to look up. I mean, you can Google anything today, even like the forms of vitamins, like Robert said about, vitamins B, right? You can literally go on Google. You don't even need anyone. And you can check which one is actually the right form. That's how simple it is. But the parents don't bother to go and research for their own kids. Does it make you a bad parent? Not necessarily, but you fall for any marketing tool, any marketing bullshit. Like you said, collagen that burns fat and stuff like that. I mean, come on, let's get a little bit real, and let's be a little bit more open-minded in terms of, doing a little bit of research, because at the end of the day, all these companies are there to make money. I mean, Apollon is there to make money. Why should I lie about it? But again, you can make money and be honest simultaneously. It doesn't take that much. I mean, I understand you're trying to cut into your expenses, and you're trying to make the cheapest possible profit to maximize your margins. I totally understand that. Every business is pretty much built like that. But don't you think that you should provide actual benefit to the kids? Because right now, if you're selling dog shit products intended for kids, I mean, how are you able to look yourself in the mirror? But they do. I'm being naive right now and thinking that everybody has a conscience, but they don't. So you have companies that trying to profit and to build business. There is one thing when you're fucking fixing somebody's car, and instead of charging them $300, you're charging them $500. Okay, the sucker fell for it, and he's an idiot, and he's going to give you more money than you actually should be getting. But when we are talking about health, and especially your kids' health, unfortunately, not everybody is like Robert, who is a parent and can fucking look at the supplement facts and knows whether his child will be benefiting from these products. Are they actually beneficial, or perhaps maybe even harmful? Not every other person actually understands to read those supplement facts, and that is fine too. That is absolutely okay. But if you don't know what you're buying, just because somebody promised you certain benefits, why don't you go and fucking research? Because you're putting it not in your body, you're putting it in your child's body, which is even more important. I mean, you should literally care about what you're doing for your kids. And I think that this is the missing link. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, but again, I'm just being naive right now and I'm talking out of my ass. But I mean, companies that are profiting out of line about benefits of certain products for kids, they should fucking burn in hell, because this is just fucking wrong. But it's the responsibility. It's a parent's responsibility to actually check, is it actually beneficial to my child? Is this product going to improve my child's health? That's, I think, and all of it is extremely simple, yet nobody gives a shit. And there's going to be, unfortunately, another company that's going to come out tomorrow with a product and it's going to say, your children are not going to get sick ever again if you're going to take these products. And all of a sudden, millions and millions of people will start buying product that is actually has zero benefit whatsoever.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me when it comes to like marketing, because back in the days, the pink color was always related to like women's supplements, and now when it comes to like gummies, you always refer them to kids and so on. And this just pisses me off, because as you said, people like trying to rip others off, with this kind of like marketing, and this kind of like actions is just like backstabbing everyone. And I just wanted to ask you, because you're also a parent, and you and Marina have Jessica, and when it comes to her, raising her, how you guys, come up with supporting her health and so on? I know that you probably, educate her, and when it comes to like diet and so on, but when it comes to like supplements, that you provide her with some tools when it comes to that matter, or how everything went from your end?
It's fuck. That's again something that we discussed about Jessica recently. I talked to Jessica. Yes, Jessica does know probably a little bit more than average child. But at the same time, you see that the main issue here is that comes to environment, and it comes to peer pressure, and it comes to friendships, and it comes to all that. I mean, I hope Jess is okay with me saying it, but even recently we talked about making better choices with food. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fucking fat bastard who loves junk food myself. I do. But there is being growing up as an overweight kid. I know that I try not to cross that line. I know where I put maybe a little bit of weight, so it's time to back the fuck off and clean up my diet and and train harder and whatnot. So I'm trying not to let myself go, but I'm responsible for whatever I put in my mouth. I mean, I'm responsible for that. Nobody can tell me what to eat and what to do. Not only that, I consider myself somewhat knowledgeable when it comes to food. So I know when I eat a big fat fucking cheeseburger, I know that there is no benefits to it, and it might get for this body fat. I make that decision myself, and I know I just made a bad choice, but it still was my choice. With kids, you know what? I'm a type of person, I can go out with you and you're gonna have a fucking chicken breast, or you're gonna have fish broiled tasteless because you're on a diet.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge you. I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm gonna order whatever I want to order, and it might be a pizza, and I'm gonna be eating next to you. And again, that's my decision. With kids, because you don't give a fuck what I eat, and I don't give a fuck what you eat. With kids, it's different. They go with a group of friends to a diner, or they go to a restaurant or something like that. And, just kind of said, because, I said to her, if you all of a sudden feel like you're a little bit maybe heavier, or you put on extra pounds and stuff like that, make better choices. Today, the luxury of modern restaurants and modern society is you can pretty much go to almost any restaurant, and you can still make healthier choices. They might not be phenomenal because they still cook them in shit oil and whatnot, but you can still go to a restaurant and you can make a better choice. And that's what I try to encourage her. You go with a group of friends, order better choices. Not all the time, but if you feel like you need to lose a little bit of weight, just make better choices. Her answer to me was, and again, I hope she's okay with me saying it, but I just want to be honest about this. Maybe it will help others. Her answer to me was, that the kids can make fun of her. They can judge her. They can point to the fact that, like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? Things like that. And unfortunately, it is true. So before you tell your child, and again, this is my opinion, strictly my opinion, before you tell your child, eat fucking chicken breast and eat fish, don't eat pizza, don't eat burgers, I think there is a step before that. And it's about developing a stronger personality and a stronger character rather than telling them what to eat. Because if I'm going to go, and Lukasz, you're like me, you were a fat fuck when you were younger, right? But you learned your own way and you know what to do. So right now, if I'm going to go and I'm going to make fun of you, of your diet and whatnot, you're going to probably show me a middle finger, because you're going to be, what you need and what you want. Yeah. And whether you eat clean food or dirty food or whatever, it's still your choice. I can't pressure you into eating something you don't want. So I think that when it comes to kids, instead of telling them what they can and they cannot eat, I think it's more about trying to develop a better and stronger character by telling them, you know what, fuck your friends and fuck peer pressure and fuck television and fuck whatever. Do what works for you. Do what's best for you. Do what's beneficial for you. Make your own choices, rather than, be somebody who is a follower. Don't follow others. You can be inspired by others, but make sure those others actually worth to be inspired by, rather than you're surrounded by a bunch of fat bastards and they making fun of you, or, people that, for example, maybe you go to the gym every day. Maybe you go to the gym twice a day. Who am I to tell you not to go to the gym? I'm watching a movie on the couch and I'm getting fatter because I eat potato chips and drink soda, and I'm watching a fun movie, but you're going to the gym and I'm making fun of you. The reality is that you should be making fun of me, because you're probably going to live longer than I will. You're probably going to be healthier than I will, and it will catch up with me later. So when they're kids, they don't feel that, but later on it catches up. So I think the key is like Robert's daughter is much younger, so he can still boss her around and tell her what to eat and what not to eat. But once kids getting to a certain age, when they like teenagers and stuff like that, you can't really force them. I think that's the very important thing. You have to educate them.
Yeah, and that's what we've tried to do now. It's like we haven't broken off saying, hey, this food is bad, this food is good. We started as eat your protein, get your protein in, then you can have whatever you want to. So it's more about, hey, we need to have enough real food, then we can have some junk food. Junk food's not bad. You just can't eat only that. You can have your M&Ms or Skittles, whatever kind of stuff you want, but keep it a moderately sized portion, but make sure you get some real food into them first. And so she even goes into that, because I picked her up from daycare a couple months ago, and one of the ladies walked out and she goes, "Are you in nutrition or something like that?" She said, "Do you do stuff with nutrition or fitness?" I said, "Oh, work with supplement companies." She goes, "Oh, okay," because Sophia was in the back at lunchtime telling everybody, "All right, there's your carbohydrates, there's your proteins, there's your fats," and she was telling, like she said, "I got to eat my protein first, and then I'm going to have some carbohydrates," and then so. You start sowing those seeds early, and I don't want to lose the listeners as like we get into parenting talk, but this is just like stuff. The general population needs to understand this stuff too. Like if a concerted effort was to educate your little 6 grams of protein in your granola bar is not a high protein food. It's bullshit.
Listen,
eat some chicken breast, eat some salmon, eat some steak.
I think it's super important. Plus, everything starts in your household, and everything goes from there.
Yeah,
I can refer to that because when I was younger, I could stick to better sources of food, and I just I didn't give a fuck about my form, my shape, and so on. I'm just eating stuff on a daily basis. I could smash 3 chocolates and no one said anything bad, because it was everything is good, everything is fine, but. At the end of the day, I was getting chubbier and chubbier every year, and after 18 years old, when I was 120 kilograms, and there was maybe 30% of fat on my frame, that wasn't fun, anymore.
Yeah.
Then I realized that something needs to change, but as you said, this earlier education is very important, so I do think that, when we are talking here about stuff like supplements, diet, and so on, touching this kind of topics is also really important, and what you guys said, it's great to know, when it comes to your daughter, Sophia, when it comes to Jessica, I do think that it matters. And, plus, when it comes to what you are teaching them in your house, at the end of the day, they will be stronger, women. And, at the end of the day, when they go with their friends, they will say, "Oh, if you are not supporting me, then you are not my friend anymore," because, you need to realize that I want to be healthy, and I want to take care of myself, and I want to be happy. So if salad makes me happy, I'm going to stick to my salad, instead of eating greasy hamburger, right?
Right. Yeah. Well put. One last rant, and then we're going to get back to the comments. There's one other thing. And just when I was searching for magnesium gummies, I saw this. They have magnesium gummies. They're using a good form of magnesium citrate. This is called Kids Anti-Stress Gummies. How fucked up of a parent are you? How piss poor of a job are you doing parenting if you need to give your kids anti-stress gummies? Childhood, it should be when you are having fun. You don't give 2 shits. Life is a treat. It's a joy. You should be loving every goddamn minute of childhood. If you have fucked yourself up as a parent so much to where you're ruining your kid's life and making them stressed up to where you need to give them anti-stress gummies, get fucked. Just get fucked. All right. Rant over.
What the fuck is wrong with him today?
When I see stupid marketing stuff like this, it makes me really, really pissed off. I don't like that. And yeah.
No, but you're right. You know what? I mean, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I used to be given all kind of food, whatever I wanted, as much as I wanted. And I thought that, oh, my mom is a great cook. I have. I'm lucky, that I can eat, like, especially, growing up in Soviet Union, where not everything was very easily accessible. So I was kind of lucky because we had pretty much good food, good products, and everything else. I never had like any issues. Like, for example, Russia didn't have, Soviet Union didn't have Coca-Cola, but you could get Pepsi Cola. It just was very, very hard to get. You had to know people and stuff like that. You had to be well connected. My dad was very well connected, and he had like people that he knew. So we were getting Pepsi Cola whenever we wanted, and I was drinking that nonstop.
Yeah.
Clearly, I didn't know any better. Now I do. And they would let me drink that nonstop. So clearly, all the sugars and all the carbs and everything that I had, and I was getting fat, and nobody ever said anything. As a child, I was growing up. I was pretty shy, so I knew I was fat, but nobody was like really judging me or pushing me to exercise or pushing me to do anything. Even though I was an active kid, I played soccer, I did wrestling and stuff like that, but I was still fat. And I remember before we were moving to Israel, my uncle, who was in the Soviet army, I mean, Apollon, and he was actually KGB, and I had a very, very special bond with him, like very, very special relationship. And I remember he took me for a walk before we left, and he wanted to talk to me, and he was like a father figure to me, pretty much when I was growing up. And he said something to me because he was very athletic. I mean, Soviet army. And he goes to me, he says, "You know what?" He says, "You need to lose weight." And to me, that was shocking because nobody has ever said that to me. And I remember that like vividly because I was 13.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You need to lose weight because girls will not like you. People will make fun of you. And it's also not very healthy. You need to exercise more. You need to eat better and stuff like that." I took that conversation to heart. I wasn't offended. I wasn't offended at all. I want to say seriously, but at the same time, it was literally like a day before we left. So it kind of, I want to say, got lost in translation. But I did remember it. But nevertheless, now I'm in Israel, where they have everything, like in the United States, like in any country, they have different types of ice cream and they have different types of like great food. And as a kid, you kind of like, what the fuck, I'm never even sure this is possible. Yeah. So I pretty much like stayed with my old habits, as a kid. I kept eating and eating and eating. There's that, everybody in life has that breaking point where certain things kind of like change your life, sometimes forever. And I remember when I was 14, and that was the first time that I actually liked a girl, somebody in my class, and she was very pretty, and I was very shy. And I remember like around the age of 14 or 14, I think, I told a friend of mine that that I really like her, and kids being kids, he actually told her, and then he told me what she said in return.
Yeah.
Basically said something along the lines that there is no chance in living hell that she could be friends in terms of like dating, kids dating with somebody as fat and disgusting as I am. Nothing at that point, at least, hurt as bad. I mean, that hurt so fucking bad. But that was the breaking point. That was the breaking point where I stopped eating. And it wasn't because my parents educated me or anyone else. Nobody gave me a good guideline to what I should be doing. But a girl calling me a fat fuck and disgusting and not somebody that she would ever date, that was the breaking point. That's when I started exercising. That's when I started like taking it more seriously. I had a goal to lose weight. I lost all the weight with less than a year. Less than a year, I was in shape. And I actually dated her 2 years later. But
there you go.
But the point is that it shouldn't come down to that. There is no need to insult anyone. There is no need to. You just have to have a good talk, or maybe just raise the children from day one, trying to teach them the proper ways. But a company, any company that's trying to profit off lying and selling shit, I mean, because that's the only word that comes to mind, shit, products that put in children, and parents are dumb enough to buy them, I mean, they should be embarrassed. They should be ashamed of themselves. I know they're not going to be. Yeah, I guess it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, it's yeah. Simon says, actually, here before we get to that, Chris, got around. Catch the replay later. Thanks for the live, gents.
Take care, Chris.
Jojo, back to family time. Have a great day, guys. I'll follow up on the replay. Thank you guys both for tuning in. A long-time loyal listeners.
Yeah.
I got to catch one more before we progress to the new stuff. Simon says, by the way, thanks, Lukasz, for the Oshi recommendation. That was probably the only thing I was drinking over in Poland.
Good one. That's a good one.
Creamy. Raw liver recipe. Liver with peanut butter was awesome. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say. Raw liver with peanut butter? Did you turn it into like a foie gras or something like that? Or like a... How did you mix... What do you do with liver and peanut butter?
Well, sweet and salty, man.
It's actually raw, or do you cook it? Or do you like puree it in a blender and then like poach it?
Yeah.
Cook it? What do you do?
Yeah, I puree it in a blender, you know, just to like do it like a mince. And then I add a peanut butter to it.
Do you cook it, or is it already cooked liver?
No, it's raw.
Lukasz, I love liver, but you're so fucked up.
You're gonna have to make this for me, or Mama Rytkowski is gonna have to make this for me one day or something.
No, you guys ever tried raw mince like tartare, beef tartare?
Yeah, I've done that a bunch.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing.
With peanut
Any
butter?
particular liver? Beef?
Yeah, beef liver. Yeah.
Raw beef liver.
No. It's super minced, so you don't even like taste this, like, because people say it's like a metallic taste.
Yeah, like a minerally taste. But is it safe to eat liver raw? Is my question. I thought it had to be poached or cooked.
Yeah. You just need to have a good source. Okay. So
the special Polish cows.
Bro, we got a good cows here.
Apparently so, man. Y'all got them coursed with all those anabolics and stuff, man.
With these hormones, right?
Yeah. You still got those old Soviet era hormones coursing through like all the water systems over there. You got jacked guys.
All these motherfuckers are like prima ballen, man.
All right, Simon says, can you guys have a quick look at Well Kids vitamins from Vitabolics? Sure. See what we got here. Well Kid by Vitabiotics. All right. Chewable vitamins. Okay. Liquids. I mean, I grew up having the Flintstone vitamins. That was probably the only kids' vitamins around one back in my day. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, flaxseed oil powder for some healthy fats. Magnesium. What are the forms of the minerals? If I could see the forms, that would help a lot. You got B1, B2, B3, B6.
They don't provide the exact forms.
Folic acid, B12, biotin, iron, zinc, copper, manganese, selenium, chromium, iodide. I mean, I like the layout of everything. If I could see the actual forms of the minerals, that would be even better. Here we go. All right.
Oh.
Let's see what we got. Okay, nice. And zinc oxide, less than stellar form of zinc oxide. Manganese sulfate, it's better than oxide. Poorer form of B12. I mean, it's better than the Goli gummies for kids. I will say that.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
It's got the good form of D3 in there. It's got D3 instead of D2, so that's good. That's a win. And honestly, most of the multivitamins on the market are using these cheaper forms like cyanocobalamin and pyridoxine hydrochloride instead of the P5P form or the methylcobalamin form. Potassium iodide, sodium selenite. Where is the magnesium form? Magnesium hydroxide. Is there another magnesium? Magnesium stearate and stearic acid. Yeah, I'm not overly nuts about those forms compared to the chelated form of magnesium or citrate or threonate form, but those are really expensive and not as ubiquitous in multivitamins. But like I said, we showed earlier, you can find a magnesium gummy. Just make sure you're not giving it to your kids because they're stressed out. If you are, then you're doing something shitty as a parent, in my opinion.
Buy that animal pack and just like roll with that.
Yeah. Calcium, magnesium for kids' bones. Hopefully they got K2 in there as well. Nope, no K2. Zinc, copper. Magnesium hydroxide. Yeah, see, they're using the crappy form of magnesium again here. Oh, well. Yeah, it's not the worst. It's definitely not the best. So that's kind of where we're at with that, Simon.
On the stress.
Would the amount sufficient would use? No, I would find other forms. I would use something different. I would use the Smarty Pants kids multis that I showed earlier. That's the ones we actually gave to the halfling, and find some other source for some magnesium if they need it, since that is lacking magnesium. But she eats 2 to 3 eggs each day, tons of other protein, ham, chicken, cheese. So she's not lacking in calcium and that stuff. She plays outside a ton.
Yeah, you can still buy just like a good magnesium-based supplement, such as like B-glycinate or like threonate or something like that.
Yeah, I give her a teaspoon of fish oil every day too. It's the Nordic Naturals Kids strawberry flavored fish oil. Dave, thoughts on the ingredient InnoSlim from New Live Science? I like it. I like Gerhard, that works at New Live Science, and I like New Live Science, the company. They just recently published a study. I don't know if I can share the actual study, but Gerhard forwarded this to me June 27th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. I don't know if I can actually share the study, but they gave subjects InnoSlim, and over where's the results? Randomized double-blinded crossover trials conducted in participants aged over 20 years with fasting blood glucose levels between 100 to 125 milligrams, HbA1c levels, which is the 90-day marker of blood sugar, between 5.8 to 6.4, and cholesterol 200 to 249 milligrams per deciliter. After 6 weeks of receiving InnoSlim or placebo, the subjects experienced a fasting blood glucose and glucose area under the curve decrease of 10.1% and 12.69% respectively. Triglycerides and LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, significantly decreased by 31% and 19.96% respectively. HDLC, adiponectin, and AMPK were all significantly increased compared to placebo. So they concluded saying supplementation with InnoSlim reduces hyperglycemia and dyslipidemia without adverse events. And that was 250 milligrams per day for 6 weeks. So yeah,
no dietary changes, something like that.
Say it again.
Was the diet controlled? No dietary changes?
I need to check that. But I'm going to do a shameless plug real quick first. If people are actually curious about learning all of the nerdy stuff about InnoSlim, there's this really outstanding article written by somebody on ApollonNutrition.com called "What is InnoSlim and Why is it in Chaos?" And you can find out everything you need to know about what InnoSlim is and how it works. Just some really nerd-tastic individual wrote this really long article.
You need to do more of that blogs.
So there we go.
Great stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, feel free to. But I like the ingredient. It's expensive, like most branded ingredients are, but they've got human research behind it and more on the way. So yeah, I like it. Obviously, is it going to replace dietary modifications and exercise? No, not even close. But adding that to your diet and everything will enhance it and enhance the effects of it. So. Nice one. Thanks. You're welcome, Diamond. Ad for Goli Kids Gummies popped out in IG, and I have reported it for a... I'm glad you reported it because it's garbage. Logan. Hey, Lukasz. Concerning what you said back at the start of the podcast about you enjoy others taking as many supplements as you take or more, what's your daily supplementation look like? I'd love to compare it to mine. I have at least 10-ish individual supplements a day.
Add one more zero to that 10-ish, and you will have my list. That's what I will say. We don't have that much time, to talk about my stash and so on. You just you can see behind me how much stuff I got. So it's just like half of the stuff I got here. The other half is in the other corner. So you can just imagine. But I take plenty of stuff. I also try to test on my own different ingredients and so on. So yeah, I'm just like a lab rat that enjoys this life. So yeah, as much as I can, of course. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Back to Muscle and Bones. If you want to chat about stash of supplements and so on, you can always reach out to me on my Facebook, and we can chat and so on. So yeah, man, just feel free to reach out.
Without fail, every day I'm taking at least turmeric or curcumin, 1,000 milligrams. So it's a 500 milligram capsule with bioperin in the morning, 1 in the evening. 2 grams of Alcar, 1,200 milligrams of N-acetylcysteine. I've got caffeine in there somewhat, but that's more of just part of daily ritual. I don't know if it counts as a supplement or not, but it's in there.
It's like
yeah, for the past month and a half, I've been doing New Level or nitrosogene each day because the guys from Nutrition 21, Todd, who was on the podcast not too long ago, sent me some New Level just so I can have bulkier and mix and match with different supplements and all of that. Take UC20 every day, about 10 grams of collagen every day. This is in addition to whey protein and all the other normal stuff I have. Creatine.
Yeah. Betaine.
Yeah, take betaine every day. That's just included with my pre-workout. On Sundays, I don't take it because I'm not taking a pre-workout on those days.
What about taurine?
Taurine. Yeah, it's either in an energy drink or a pre-workout that I'm taking.
See, you already got 10 or more.
I'm not even trying.
It's easy.
Nootropics vary depending on if I'm taking it that day or not. Usually I'll take it. If I'm not taking a nootropic, I'll probably either have eggs that day or I'll pop a capsule of CDP choline. Or if I use something like I used Universal Soldier yesterday when I was doing some work. So that has 600 milligrams of alpha size in it or alpha GPC in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and every now and then I'll throw in something fun like Nupept or phenylpiracetam. Some of those other vinpocetine. Grapeseed. I take 400 milligrams of grapeseed, 400 to 600 of grapeseed every day, and at least 200 of pine bark every day too. And mushrooms. Reishi, shiitake, lion's mane, and astragalus. I also take 4 grams of astragalus each day too.
Beetroot extract?
Nope. No beetroot.
No beetroot.
Got to keep my liver healthy, happy, and functioning.
Tadka?
Nope, no Tadka either, although I'll probably need to try some of that.
Yeah.
Trying to see. I'm going back through this InnoSlim study. And if I'll reach out to Gerhard and see, because sometimes he listens in on these podcasts. If not, he'll message me. Because I just finished up a really in-depth discussion. There's some new research on carnitine supplementation and whether it's good or bad for heart health. Because previously, back in 2020, there were 2 different meta-analyses coming out showing It helped improve cardiovascular parameters, lowered triglycerides, lowered LDL cholesterol, and it also resulted in body fat reduction. A new study just came out showing the opposite. It elevated pro-atherogenic markers, so stuff that shows increased plaque and inflammation, all that stuff. Supplementing with 1,500 milligrams of carnitine for a long time led to elevations and all of that. So I just did a big deep dive, and that's going to be going up on the Patreon soon. So anybody that's interested in checking that out, you can click the link down below, and you'll get access to that fun article. So,
Good.
am I going to avoid Alcar? No, not at all.
Hell no.
Logan, as far as mushrooms go, Robert, have you ever tried Poria? I love that. I love the mix of that and Polygala. I have never tried Poria mushrooms.
Me neither.
What are the fun bioactives in there? It is a wood decay fungus, but has subterranean growth habit, notable in the development of large, long-lasting underground sclerotium that resembles a small coconut. Okay. Interesting. Anti-tumor drug in China. The polysaccharides of it are being explored for that. Interesting. Cool. All right, last call for any comments, questions, queries, quips, smartass remarks from the peanut gallery. Otherwise, I have to depart soon, gentlemen. Yeah, I'll check that out, Logan. Maybe that could be a topic for a future jumping off point for another article. I'm always looking for topics to discuss because at the end of the week, after I finish writing for a bunch of other stuff, it's hard for me to come up with ideas for me to do for my own site or Patreon. I don't know. So if you guys give me ideas, that gives me something to write about. That and Robbie's driving. Robbie drives a pretty hard bargain. Robbie and Carolina are running me into the ground with work demands, so they're just overbearing taskmasters. Overbearing. Yeah. All right, gents. Robbie, you gonna watch the fights tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, who did Nunes win last week? I didn't check. We were out at.
She won.
So she did? I was right. Yes. I just picked it to be for whatever reason. But okay, so she reclaimed her title. Have you watched the Professional Fighting League?
No.
ESPN? I saw some matches last night.
Yeah, I heard that it's a pretty elite.
Dude, those guys. So a lot of the UFC fights I watched end up being a lot of more grappling and ground game. The two matches I saw yesterday, man, these dudes were fucking laying each other out with kicks, knees, punches. I mean, it was more about striking than it was ground and pound. It was fun to see that. Or you can check out Karate Combat. That's more.
I started to watch that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, see, I like the full contact karate stuff. Good. That's more in line of the style of martial arts and fighting that my brother and I did growing up. It was you couldn't do ground and pound with traditional taekwondo, tournaments and stuff like that. That wasn't allowed
too.
So say it again.
And that's the beauty about it, because that's where you see like real skills.
Yeah. It's not. I don't know if it'd be really practical in a street fight, but it's fun to throw those jump turn kicks and stuff like that every now and then. So, all right, gents. Thank you one all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast with family, friends, and loved ones for a big, sweet,
fat discount. And remember, grab that bitch
and spank it.
Yeah.
Final scoop, ApollonNutrition.com. I guess I'll be nice. Subscribe to Stack 3D podcast. Turn on notifications. Give Shane a 2.5-star review on his podcast since he couldn't be bothered to show up today. Give us at
You're doing Sridhar job right now.
I know Sridhar didn't even show up either. Man, he must be at the deadlift competition with Shane too.
Yeah, probably.
Either way, you got to
hushing his nuts.
Exactly. You got a topic or comment question for a future episode of the podcast or something you want me to address in an article on the Supplement Engineer side of the Patreon account, leave a comment down below or email me thesupplementengineer@gmail.com and hit Robbie up and Lukasz at their preferred points of contact, and links to everything will be in the show notes. Thank you one and all, and we'll catch you all next time on the Final Scoop.
Take care, guys.